Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Good morning. This is Racing Across America, and I am Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us on a big day of racing, as noted during the Handicappers Report earlier. Claiming crown on the opening of the championship meet down at Gulfstream, and a little bit later on we'll be joined by Ron Nicoletti. But a big day down in New York. Cigar Mile, last grade one of the season in New York, and some nice undercard stakes as well. And I thought, who better to talk about the New York card than our friend Anthony Stabile. Anthony, good morning.
Hey, Seth, how are you?
Very good. And fill us in. It has been a puzzle down in New York for the past few days. Triple carryover, $729,000 in the pick six pool today. And I would think on a big day like this, that'll juice up significantly. But man, there have been some head scratchers over the last few days.
To say the least. Yeah, there have been, something happened. I've never seen three pick threes go to an all, and that's what happened in races 4, 5, 6, and 7 yesterday. I've never seen that in New York. Seen it out of town, of course, but never here on the NYRA circuit. That's what happened yesterday. I think I don't think we're going to see that today. I think there's some, for the lack of a better term, because this is a word I very rarely use in regards to myself, there's some normalcy going to happen this afternoon at the Big A. I'm getting ready to roll in. Talking Horses starts at 10:35, and I'm happy to go over these stakes. Good card here today. A lot of good maiden races. Oh, those maiden races, we've seen countless Grade 1 winners come out of the fall Aqueduct maiden races, and I think we got a couple of good ones today, and then, of course, the 4 stakes highlighted by the Cigar Mile.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we get into that, we're at the Aqueduct meet now. We're going to be down there for a while, and I've heard you talking the pregame and whatnot. Aqueduct, a haunt of yours. Talk a little bit about Aqueduct in the New York racing scene.
I mean, it's the Warriors. It's the Winter Warrior racetrack. I mean, it's the only one completely inside city limits, right? You jump off the A train, and you pull up in your car, and you head into the Big A, and it's for the veteran horse players, right? It's just, for a lot of years I said Belmont was my favorite, but there's been some things professionally and more recently personally in my life where I can't deny Aqueduct as my favorite racetrack. It's just a place that is very, very special to me, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a racetrack for people that likes to go to the racetrack. That's the best way I could put it.
They should make that their tagline. I like that. Very good. All right, let's jump in because, again, a really great stakes action, and there's an all-stakes pick 4 to end the day today. The 7th is the Go for Juan. It will go off just about 2:45 this afternoon. And I pulled up a replay of Lady Rocket winning the pumpkin pie. Lady Rocket's going to be the number 7 horse in here. On the handicapping show earlier, I said, the 2 wins in the last 3 starts, I couldn't get past that one. I think Sharp Star is going to be interesting, though. The winner from last year, coming off that win in the State Bred Stakes race last time. I think that one's interesting. Miss Marissa, a little inconsistent, but I could make a case there. And Bella Vita coming in from the West Coast. I think it's interesting. I tilted slightly towards Lady Rocket. How did you go on the Go for Juan?
Yeah, you and I saw this race similarly. I thought it was Lady Rocket or Sharp Star. Lady Rocket didn't break behind against Bella Sophia 2 back, but in 3 of her 4 prior starts, and including last out, she's been on or close to the lead. Even if Miss Marissa wants to lead, Arad could just sit there with Lady Rocket. I think she's going to be tough. I know she's never been beyond 7. This is her first start going a mile, but I would imagine she's going to handle a mile just kind of being by tail of the cat, having a Skindrea mare. Shouldn't be an issue. And then Sharp Star, she kind of woke up last time. I think some people might wonder, well, was it the sloppy track? Because 2 of the 3 times she's run on sloppy sealed track, she's run giant races. But I think she just kind of woke up last time. She got a pretty good pace scenario. I don't think it'll be too different in here. But I do think Lady Rocket has a little bit of a slight class edge over her, and I lean that way.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. Let's turn the page, go to the Remsen. I said earlier, it's always fun, these 2-year-old races, as they start to stretch out, maybe gives us hints for next year. We'll see if that works out for the Remsen this year. I pulled up the maiden special victory for Mo Donegal. That said, Mo Donegal is going to be the number 6 horse, but number 7 is From Another Mother, who is going to run second in here. Take a look at that one as well, because I said on the handicapping show earlier, I tilt slightly towards Mo Donegal. They all have some question marks with the 2 turns in the distance, but I did think From Another Mother in here might have a chance to speed pop them. I tilted towards Mo Donegal. Zandon is interesting to me. Hoo, that's me, I think is an intriguing player, the New York bred. But as I said earlier, Ray Handel and From Another Mother may be a pace scenario that could be intriguing. Your thoughts on the Remsen?
I don't ordinarily do this, but I took the maiden. I took From Another Mother. I think going the 2 turns and this horse being able to maybe stretch out the speed and get the speed around the 2 turns. I thought he ran great last time behind Mo Donegal, who got the mile on the 16th around the 1 turn. They're the 2 for me. There's a little bit of a gap to Zandon, and I don't know how far Zandon's going to want to go at the end of the day. 6 to 9 furlong stretch out's a little tough. They're the obvious 3, but I'm like, yeah, I think From Another Mother can steal this race on the front end. If Mo Donegal gets him again, he gets him again. But I'm going to take a horse that's going to be 3 times the price, despite the fact that he's a maiden. I'm going to take From Another Mother, who's 2 mile on the 16th race is exponentially better than the sprints. I think he's getting good at the right time, and I'll try and get him wire to wire at a little bit of a price.
Yeah, as I said earlier on the handicapping show, the pace scenario there is going to be a lot of fun as they turn into the backstretch. All right, on the girls' side, the Demoiselle, grade 2, $250,000, the 8 furlongs for the girls as well. I'm going to tilt towards Nest in here, but we're going to watch the replay of the Tempted. It will be Gerrymander, the number 8 horse, who I think is a really nice runner for Chad Brown. But running second, number 3 Magic Circle, number 7 Nest runs third. They're both back in on Saturday. I thought potentially there's maybe a little more upside for Nest, so I tilted slightly in that direction. But we'll see if she can turn the tables on Magic Circle. I thought Tap the Faith for Christophe Clement. You know, they paid over $1 million for the horse. That one could be intriguing. Venti Valentine, I thought, was an intriguing player. Misinterpret, I left out of my mix, but that one wouldn't shock me at a price. I may have to back that one up if we do get the double digits. The morning line shows, Pletcher and Luis Saez on Misinterpret. But again, I tilted towards the obvious in here, Nest. How did you see the Demoiselle?
I like Tap the Faith. You know, out of an Alabama winner by Tap at the distance should not be an issue. I like the way she closed ground her first race behind the Mulray, who has run well in all of her races, and now finally got in the maiden ranks yesterday afternoon here at the Big A. I like Venti Valentine. I think Venti Valentine's 2 race shows her agility and her versatility. More importantly, wins from well off the pace going 6. It was a lot closer going the mile last time. I thought she made a big step up yet last time out, and now she gets the 2 turns. I don't think it's going to be an issue. She looks like she'll eat up some ground. Johnny V's going to climb aboard as Irad goes to Nest. But I like Tap the Faith. I think Tap the Faith is the goods. I used her, Venti Valentine, and Nest. There's going to be a pick 6 ticket up on NYRA bets. I put it together. I used the 3 of them. I felt like Nest kind of ran in spots last time, which bothered me a little bit because she already had the mile on the 16th race under her belt. I thought she ran okay last time, but I think Tap the Faith and Venti Valentine maybe have a little bit more blue sky than she does. So I leaned with those 2.
Yeah, I am interested to see what the Tap the Faith does. Gets the acid test here. You know, you pay $1 million too. Going to be intrigued to see what that one does in Stakes Company. And we wrap things up on Saturday, about 4:15. Grade 1 Cigar Mile, $750,000, mile of distance, as the name indicates. I'm really intrigued to see what your thoughts are here. I tilted towards American Revolution. This one gets the acid test, having stepped into Open Stakes Company 2 back and run 3rd in the Pennsylvania Derby, now stepping into the Grade 1 against older Open Company, but off of that win in the Empire Classic with the 108 buyer. We're going to watch that stretch run. That was just impressive. But I think Olympiad is very intriguing in here. Following C, Code of Honor on a best effort can be a player. Independence Hall off the triple digit. I can point to just about the entire field and find at least something to hang my hat on. What are your thoughts on the Cigar Mile?
You know, it's funny. I kind of feel the same way, but at the same time, I love American Revolution.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of this horse. I think this 1-turn mile is going to smack him right between the eyes. I know his two-turn form is accomplished, but I really think this horse around the one turn going the mile is going to be, that's just what's going to be his wheelhouse. I'm a big fan. I think, he's going to be close enough where he won't be on the lead, but he won't be out the back. He's got some speed in here. He's got following C, obviously, from the rail is going to be gunning. Ginobili has plenty of speed. He wasn't going to be able to go with Life is Good last time, but you'd have to imagine Graydon Van Dyke is going to have his foot on the pedal early. There's going to be some pace on him here, and I just think this horse is the goods. I've been waiting to bet this horse in the Cigar since Todd mentioned 3 weeks ago that he was going to run. I'm a little surprised that he's the morning line favorite. I don't know how this board is going to shake out. If I can get 5-2 or 3-1, I guess I'd be happy with that. I think Olympiad is interesting. I think Olympiad is really interesting. I think Code of Honor may have one more big one left in him. And, he's another horse. I think his Travers win and some of his bigger efforts around two turns have him a little, have maybe people having mixed feelings about him. I think some of his best efforts have been around one turn. His Dwyer before the Travers win was sensational. I think his Met Mile behind Vacoma is one of the more underrated efforts of the year last year, if not of his career, if not the year last year. I think he was big in the Met Mile last year. And I think cutting back is going to help him. I believe this is the final start of his career. It's funny. It's almost like it's the old guard, him and Independence Hall, against some of the new shooters in here. And I like when these races set up that way, when it's like, let's see what Following C does. Let's see what kind of horse American Revolution is. What's Olympiad made of? Pipeline we haven't mentioned. He's just 1 for 5 in his career, but Pipeline certainly has a license to improve for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. Chad's had success in this race. So I think it's an interesting renewal. With that said, I am a big American Revolution fan.
I like it. Anthony, we'll let you go. We know you've got the early start on the pregame show down in New York this afternoon, but wish you a lot of good luck, you and everybody, and a lot of good luck in the Pick Six as well. Really looking forward to it, so thanks for the visit.
You got it, Seth. I probably won't talk to everyone, so have a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you in 2022. Looking forward to another big year.
Appreciate it. Anthony Stabile from the New York Racing Association taking a look at some of the stakes on the big Cigar Mile day. All right, we'll take a break. As promised earlier, we will be joined on the rebound by our friend Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. They're 1 day into their championship meet. Really looking forward to following racing down in Florida throughout the winter, as now they're pulling the turf course back into action. They gave it a little bit of a rest over the past few weeks. They've been either doing the main track or the Tapeta, but turf racing and a lot of the familiar names heading back to Florida for the winter for that championship meet. Oh, and I don't know whether I said during handicapper support, I don't know whether I thanked Gulfstream for their sponsorship of this program, because during the championship meet they do sponsor some of the programming and events here at Capital OTB, and we appreciate their support during the championship meet. So we will talk championship meet and today's claiming crown with Ron Nicoletti right after this. Stay tuned.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku, Try it now.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, joined now by our friend Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park. Ron, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Nice to talk to you.
You too. Championship meet got underway yesterday, so I wanted to bring you on and give a couple ideas on the claiming crown this afternoon, but also kind of set up the meet as well. And also, I'll have you say hello to our friend Brian Addo, because I see he kicked off his stint down there at the championship meet yesterday, and he'll be doing some paddock commentary with you and Acacia throughout the meet coming up. So that'll be a lot of fun for us up there. See the hometown hero.
Yeah, it's great. So, yeah, Brian does a great job. So good to have him aboard, and good to have everybody aboard. It's good to be back, me and Acacia, and now Brian. It's going to be a fun week as far as the handicapping goes. Yeah, I don't know how many winners we'll pick, but we're going to try it.
Speaking of that, I have to bring up, because I saw you and Acacia talking about it yesterday, as you do during the championship meet every year, and laugh about it a little bit. But folks can take a shot at winning a nice little polo shirt. I guess today is the kickoff to the Beat the Expert, and you'll be the expert today?
Yeah, I'm the expert today on the hardest day. I'm still mad at Acacia for putting me in first, So, yeah, claiming crown day is always a tough one because you got all these horses from everywhere. So a little tough, but yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see how we do. Usually on that day, and this, it's the handicapping gods. When you're in the contest, you can't pick a winner.
So folks go to the website, they can put in selections and try to beat Ron Nicoletti today, and then it alternates on alternate, but potentially win a nice little polo shirt. So certainly want to promote that a little bit. As we get underway with the championship meet, let's set up the meet a little bit and first talk about, it seems like over the past few weeks, the synthetic surface has been going pretty well. I'm curious to know, as it's a new surface, how you feel handicapping, if it's been more of a puzzle or one of those things that as we're getting into it now, it's maybe becoming a little easier and easier to figure it out.
Yeah, it really is. The first week or so, and they had told us that when they put the surface in that this would happen, it was a little slow and deep, and it would look like it was just, you had to have a horse that was, closing or, maybe mid-pack. You didn't have anybody in the front, and then it sort of turned around. And cut it, and it seems to be pretty even. What I've noticed with it, just in the handicapping, looks like a lot of people, they save ground early, and you just make that move out, and you make that run through the stretch, and with the whip rule that we have here, it looks like it's pretty fair, and you can win on the front end, you can win on coming off the pace, but if I had to, say exact, I think you got to best is to stop, for as far as I'm concerned.
At any meet, I'm always intrigued to kind of follow and see horses as they come from other venues, if some venues are a little more productive. And this year down at Gulfstream with that synthetic surface, I'm going to be really intrigued as horses start to show up from Woodbine and see how the synthetic form translates from Woodbine to your synthetic surface. I think it'll be a productive angle.
Yeah. What else happened is that David Fawkes, who's one of our trainers here, year round, he was saying, I don't know about this Tapeta. He goes out and he wins 8 straight. We call him the king of the Tapeta now. So you would think that there would be guys shipping in. Of course, I agree with you when the horses from Woodbine get here. But so we call him the king of the Tapeta. Everything he runs on there wins. It's hysterical, And the other thing, just to go back to the handicap part, I think horses have to be fit. I think that's the key. Of course, it's a tiring surface, not to go all over the place, but I just wanted to get that in.
Yeah. And just before we go on and take a look at a couple races today, wanted to take a look at the human side, and I printed up last night the Equibase stats from last year's championship meet. Irod Ortiz just ran away and hid from the group. Paco Lopez was second. Tyler Gaffleon, Luis Saez, Edgar Zayas had good meets. And on the trainers side of things, Todd Pletcher, Safi Joseph, Mike Maker, Antonio Sano, Bill Mott lead your leaderboard from last year. We have a shot up here, though, of Irod Ortiz and Todd Pletcher. And as I say, they just seem to dominate there. So they're names to watch again going into this year. Give us some thoughts on the human side. And I will also toss in one more name because I think defining career resurgence. I think Chantal Sutherland is very interesting to watch coming into this championship meet with some good momentum.
Yeah, and she was really good on the Tapita. She knew how to handle it, so she got a lot of wins. It's amazing. She had a great. I think she was tied for second second in the current standings that just ended. So certainly a fourth to look at. She's just got to get the mounts. It gets a little tougher. Where starting on Sunday, Wednesday we'll have Louis Saez. And NYRA I think is here tomorrow. So always tough to get some mounts when those big guys are in town, but she'll do great.
Yeah, hopefully she's made enough of an impact with some of the locally based trainers down there that she does kind of keep the role going, because it's been fun to see, as I say, the career kind of resurge. All right, let's take a look at a couple of races from this afternoon. The Claiming Crown events. 10th race this afternoon is the Claiming Crown Jewel. They'll go a mile and an eighth, purse of $125,000. Girolamo's Attack goes out for Safi Joseph off a couple of wins in starter handicap company. Strike Appeal, I thought, was a little bit interesting as well. Comes down from Thistledown, but as you say, that's what makes this afternoon so intriguing. You have horses coming in from a bunch of different venues. Who's going to step up and get it done? What did you see in the Jewel?
Well, I like one of my angles here, and I went with the number 10 horse in here, Hanalai's Houdini. This one is the distinction of being the only entrant in the field to ever hit the board at this mile and an eighth distance. I see tons of speed in this race. Stretches out. I think this one sits in the garden spot behind that hot pace expected. So Paco Lopez in the saddle, I just think it's going to be, a good fit for that horse in there. Girolamo's Attack, and of course Gloria Florida, who is another one I think is going to see the trip. When you look at that, it's just so much speed in the race. It's hard to really see, anybody just going to the lead and stealing it.
And don't you think the another angle with Hanalai's Houdini, something to maybe watch during the day today on this Claiming Crowd card every year, moves into the barn of Mike Maker off a claim at Keeneland in the middle of October, and you have to wonder if they didn't claim specifically looking to chase the $125,000 this afternoon.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. It's a good race, and they're very tough in there.
The 11th race is the Emerald, a mile and a 16th on the turf. Safi Joseph, another likely favorite, coming off of a second, but a close-up second on the synthetic at Gulfstream, but one at Kentucky Downs, 2 starts back. Max KO will take a lot of action, but again, nice full competitive field. Your thoughts on the Emerald?
I'm going with the inside speed in there with Midday Image, the number 1. 4 races at Gulfstream on the turf, 3 wins. Turns, cuts back to the mile in the 16th. Had those couple of wins at Monmouth, getting Paco Lopez on the inside. A couple of turf races that we had yesterday. It looks like speed is good on the turf course right now early on. So that's how we're going to I'm going to handicap that race and just use the 1 Midday Image.
Very good.
With Max KO, attentive, and all that. It's just a tough race. I'm going with the speed in that race for sure.
Yeah, I like it, Paco from the inside. And as always, folks can find your selections on the website every day?
Absolutely.
Very good. So folks could check that out as well. Ron, appreciate it. Wanted to just do a little kickoff to the championship meet and get some ideas for this afternoon, but certainly we will talk to you as the meet progresses. And it looks like, knock wood, but we are talking about getting back down for the Florida Derby this year. So I'm looking forward to getting back and getting some Florida time in a few months.
That'd be great. Good. Can't wait to see you.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we will be tuned in to the pregame and whatnot for the envy weather, because it's getting to that point where we certainly like to look at the paddock at Gulfstream and just kind of wishfully think, oh, I'd love to be there. So we will check in for some weather forecasts as well.
You got it.
Appreciate it. Ron Nicoletti from Gulfstream Park, again, kicking off the championship meet on this weekend with the Claiming Crown this afternoon. Lots of great stakes action coming up. Before I wrap up, and again, we'll wrap up early today because with the early start in New York, they will kick off the pregame show in 10 minutes or so, I think about 10:35. But I did have some news and notes to hit on. First, I mentioned earlier, Joel Rosario, if you didn't see that, on Thursday got dumped and had a hairline fracture on a rib, so he'll be out a few weeks, which is unfortunate because he was chasing a couple of records, the overall annual stakes record and the graded stakes record as well. And it was going to be an interesting December because they were within reach, but he would have had to put together a pretty good December. But with Ron Anderson as his agent, they were picking their spots around the country, and it was going to be fun to watch Joel maybe make a run at both of those records. But unfortunately, he's on the sidelines. When he comes back, I think the game plan for him still will be to winter down at Oaklawn. Speaking of that, I didn't mention, the news came out, I mentioned it when I was in on Wednesday maybe, because I think that's when the news, John Velasquez going to winter in Southern California this year, which is a little bit different. You know, typically he would be one of the New York-based jockeys going down to Florida, but John Velasquez headed out to Southern California for the winter. Going to be fun to see. I've said for years, that is a tough jockey colony to break into. I mean, over the years, there have been some Angel Cordero tried to go out there and eventually came back to New York. It's odd when a jockey does. Mike Smith is clearly the most notable, the guy who went west and eventually got in and succeeded at the highest level out there. But it's tough to break in out in Southern California. But if anybody can do it, John Velasquez with his agent Ron Anderson, and he has already kind of made inroads into the Baffert barn. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this winter out in Southern California. And the one other note I wanted to make, if you play Maryland racing, Laurel has gone on a hiatus through December 5th. They had some breakdowns on their track, which is a new racing surface. If you remember, they had a little bit of an extended stay at Pimlico because they were redoing the surface over at Laurel. And when it opened up, the reports were great. And I'm just looking here because they had some quotes. Alan Foreman, the general counsel of the Maryland Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, said the racing surface has changed since the onset of cold weather. So they had called in some experts. This past week, they had some breakdowns. So they called in some experts. They said, let's take a little hiatus from the racing, and they will examine the surface and hopefully, do whatever is necessary to make it as safe as possible. But again, if you play Maryland racing, they've taken a little break through the weekend. So keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to wrap things up. Oh, I did print up, and I mentioned it, just coming into meets. It's always interesting to go back to previous meets and get the human angles on who was hot the previous meet. And as I said when I talked to Ron, printing up Gulfstream, the championship meet from last year. Irod Ortiz, as I say, he ran away and hit. Irod Ortiz last year at the championship meet, 140 winners. Paco Lopez was second with 98. That is a crazy margin. But Paco Lopez second, Tyler Gaffleon third, Luis Saez fourth. So again, Irod Ortiz, Paco Lopez, Tyler Gaffleon, Luis Saez, guys that you're going to want to watch again this year. And on the trainer side of things, Todd Pletcher has been the leader at the championship meet for 8 straight. There's been a number that Pletcher has been the lead. It was the leader last year. Safi Joseph second, Mike Maker third, Antonio Sano, Bill Mott. So again, they were the guys you will want to watch at Gulfstream. But I also printed up with Oaklawn opening yesterday. I printed up the leaders from Oaklawn for last year. But do know, I think with the earlier start and the purse structure they have down there now at Oaklawn, I think there'll be some, kind of fresh or fresher faces that you want to watch this year. But last year, no surprise, Steve Asmussen, who is technically Texas-based. I mean, I think that's actually where, permanent residence is, as compared to, we see him at Saratoga all season long, and then if you watch, you see him down at Churchill and Keeneland and whatnot, and you'll see him quite a bit at Oaklawn. But Oaklawn being in Arkansas, hop, skip, and a jump from Texas. So no surprise with the string down there and being close to home, so to speak. Asmussen, the leading trainer, by a pretty good margin last year, 60 versus 44 for Robertino Diodoro. But Diodoro's a guy you're going to want to watch as well. I mean, he's a guy who plays the claiming game, very well. And the claim box down at Oak Lawn is just, it's on fire, has been for the last few years. And so the claiming game is played very strategically down there. So Robertina Diodoro will be notable as well. Third last year was Brad Cox, Carl Broberg, Ron Nicoletti. We had Ron on this. We had Ron on with us up at Saratoga this year. And in researching it, you can probably find, I'm trying to think if I saw a picture. I think it was a video, so it may have been on YouTube. But in researching for Ron Nicoletti, I saw, as I said, I think it was a video of his house at Oak Lawn where, talk about a great location. You walk out his front door and you walk like 5 steps and you're at the fence looking over the backstretch of Oak Lawn. It's like those houses on Fifth Avenue overlooking the Oklahoma training track, except this is, you're looking at the actual track at Oak Lawn. Just a great location down there. But Ron Nicoletti, top 5 as well. Asmussen, Diodoro, Brad Cox, Broberg, and Nicoletti. Again, guys you're going to want to watch, certainly out of the box as well. Rick Hammerly from Oak Lawn was on Steve Bick earlier this week. The same day I was on, Bick was down at Oak Lawn. So while I was on the air, Hammerly was sitting there and talking. We were all talking, and Hammerly made the comment that the condition book for Oak Lawn has been out for months. And so a lot of these trainers will get off to good starts because they're pointing. They've had the book now for months. They've been pointing. So there'll be some trainers who get off to good starts. Other guys will catch up a little bit later on. But those are names you want to keep in mind. On the jockey side of things last year, Ricardo Santana, David Cabrera, Francisco Arrieta, Ramon Vasquez, Florent Giraud. Jockey's colony may be a little bit interesting this year as well. As I say, there may be some fresher faces down there to keep our eyes on. All right, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm looking up and they are going over scratches and changes at New York, so we'll bring you that and the pregame show with the Big A, Anthony Stabile and Andy Serling. I'll be back in about an hour or so to kick off OTB Live for a Saturday afternoon. Should be a lot of fun. Lots of great stakes action and racing on undercards as well. So we'll wrap it up for Racing Across America for this Saturday morning. Thanks to our friends at Gulfstream for their sponsorship during the championship meet. Stay tuned. NYRA pregame show up next. I'll be back in about an hour with OTB Live for a Saturday afternoon. See you then.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.